Hi everyone, I'm Fiona, Head of Sales and Account Management at PTFS Europe. And this afternoon I'm delighted to be joined by Kathleen Milne from the Western Isles Libraries and Derek McLean, has a web design business in Stornoway in the Outer Hebrides. And he has been contracted to work with Kathleen on their Aspen implementation. So thanks very much for joining me, both of you. It's very nice to see you this afternoon.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, great. So we're here today just to talk about the implementation of the Aspen Library Engagement Platform in Western Isles Libraries, and just to sort of have a flavour for how you see that fitting into your library service and what benefits it's going to have. So tell me, Kathleen, first of all, what attracted you to Aspen?
Well, it's quite interesting. I was trying to remember earlier today when I first heard about Aspen, and it was some years ago, and it was at a PTFS meeting or get together or something. I can't even remember when or where. But one of the things that was spoken about was Aspen, and I got really excited about it. And I think it was the main fact was that you could integrate your e-audio and your e-book sort of quite effortlessly into the catalog. So there were a lot of sort of exciting things about it. It seemed far more user-friendly, easier to manage, but it was the fact that the catalog was so sort of flexible. And I saw great opportunities from that. That was it. We didn't think we'd be able to get to the position we are at the moment, but we're here.
Oh, you're here. And not only are you here, you're one of the first of our customers to implement it. And, it's really fantastic to see that a product that's so flexible and enriches your library catalogue can fit into a smaller authority like Western Isles. So it's absolutely fabulous. So, how, Kathleen, can you see that Aspen benefits your library members? You mentioned about the integration with the ebooks, but what else does Aspen offer that you didn't have previously?
Yes, you've been with us this whole journey, and we've been wanting to have a much more blended catalog. So it's not just the library management system, the catalog, then you go somewhere else for the website. We've always been looking for that integrated product, which was a bit possible. It was possible with Koha and sort of linking up with WordPress. But a worry here is that we are such a small service, and the worry of upkeep. And though that web interface would have been easy, it's still very difficult to get staff comfortable enough to use that. So what I liked about it, one of the things was that it was very easy to use, non-threatening. Like all catalogs, you need to get familiar with it to really benefit from all the functionality. But it felt like something that the library staff would be able to look after and develop on their own. And yet you've just got one site to go to. You've got the catalog, you can log in as a user.
Yeah, Kathleen, it's great. I mean, as you said, it's like one place for the library users to go, and they can see so much and get a lot of the extra functionality out of the catalogue. Like you mentioned, they can see events and stuff that's happening as well. One of the things that you mentioned that I want to elaborate a little bit more on is about it being easy to maintain and administer. So I wonder if between you can give a little bit more information about that, and just to sort of say how easy it is and what things that you can do and such like.
I'm still very much getting to know the system, and it's exciting to discover more and more about it. Sort of I'll go back a wee bit and just say, sort of taking first steps when I was spending time sort of exploring it. What I really liked is that on each page of the site, the Aspen site that you're working on, you can immediately click to help and training notes. And just that is so easy. So you get the training notes for the specific page you're on, which just saves so much time. So I really like that. It seems very logical to use. So I think if people are familiar, you don't have to be an expert. If people are
Mm-hmm.
familiar with websites and that, they're going to be able to explore and find out about it. I am learning about new sort of functionality all the time, so I don't sort of claim to know a lot, but I like the ease of creating the websites. You can use different layouts. It's very easy to create new pages.
Mm-hmm.
The process isn't intimidating at all. So yes, I think that's what I was very concerned
Yeah,
about staff with not much time. Would they be able to quickly update
of course.
opening up? There's things that you need to change on a sort of almost daily basis, and it is very quick. It's not going to be intimidating. They're not going to need a huge amount of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly,
Mm-hmm.
everyone needs to be comfortable with the site, but it's not scary. Um, and there's
Yeah.
something about an easy interface that is non-threatening. That is just, it just, you're halfway there with that process.
So obviously, Derek, you've done the lion's share of the setup, sort of back end administration so far. I assume you would echo what Kathleen said?
Absolutely, yes. In terms of support perspective, I've got to say I found dealing with Aspen very good indeed. I've been given an assigned contact. I've been given easy access. If I did come across any problems, it's just like an email or a phone number, a call away. So that's been very good indeed. In terms of the interface, I find it's pretty straightforward. It's quite useful being able to establish like a consistent theme to be used throughout the website. That's a massive time saver. So just having a think beforehand about things like colors. One of the actual really useful aspects of that that I found really handy was the accessibility side of things. So there's a useful function built into Aspen within the admin section. So if you come across a color that isn't very friendly from an accessibility perspective, it actually gives you a prompt, and that's really useful, and it kind of gives you kind of guidance to finding one that is friendly from an accessibility perspective. So I thought that was really good, and that was one of the kind of key points, if you like, that my brief kind of entailed as well. It was accessibility. So obviously
So
nowadays,
important, isn't it? Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's so important to be available to every kind of user. So yeah, I thought that was a really neat point. Yeah. So.
Great. So obviously, you were contracted in to assist with the implementation and setting up the pages, but from what you're saying, then it's such a user-friendly back end that the library staff will be able to just go in and make changes as and when as well. And one of the things I like about Aspen is that you can create pages and things and put dates on them. So you can have things getting published in the future and taken down automatically as well. If you're advertising an event, for example, you just have it on your page until the event's passed, and then it can come off. So it's got those nice little administrative tasks as well that are taken away from staff. You don't have to remember to then go back in and remove things. So there's a lot of like nice little benefits of that, isn't there? So yeah.
And I'm looking forward to sort of getting to know all of them. I think, when we can find a wee bit more time to do that, because I think the more you discover about the system, the more you can make use of it, and then the easier it is for staff. So it's just, you pointed out the sort of my library, because sort of we are such a small service, we've never been able to have a library app. We've never gone down self-service route. We've never been able to offer, our users the same range that bigger services can offer. We've never had the budget, but this has its app, which we haven't even tried yet, but we know there's an app that goes with it. So the app comes with it. People can log into their account, and they can then get a barcode of their library card, so they can carry their library card on their phone. It's giving us all those extras that we wouldn't be able to afford, and it's just part of Aspen. And we're also linked with Koha. We're going to be able to have a very, very cost-effective self-service model, self-service points at our libraries as well. So the combination of Aspen and Koha are sort of giving us that whole range of facilities so we can sort of compete and offer the same service to our users. Just as part of the system. So it's fantastic. It's really going to take us a big step forward.
And one of the things related, I suppose, to thinking of the wider community in the Western Isles and thinking about the administration behind it is, obviously you have got that Gaelic button appearing on Aspen. So I wonder perhaps if you'd like to give a wee bit of information about that translation project that you're embarking on.
And we've been here a wee bit before. I think with our previous one, we were always wanting to have a Gaelic interface and translation. And we tried working on that for some time, but never quite got to actually appointing someone to translate it. And I think that was one of the things we asked about Aspen. Would that be possible? We don't have it yet, but it's going to be very soon. And what we like when we've been shown the system, it was so easy to translate. There's no downloading complex files, and that you can literally translate it immediately with the website in front of you. So as I say, we may sort of launch, when we start, we won't have the Gaelic, hoping to in about a month or so, if not sort of early next year. And it will be the first Gaelic interface, won't it?
Yeah.
And what's exciting is that once it's there, someone else will be able to use it. So we feel there may be other areas that will benefit from it as well.
But one of the things, the beauty of it is you can translate as you go as well. So you don't have to have a fully translated system, do you? You can, it's, as you said, very easy to make those translations, so you can pick those up as you're going through as well.
And people will see that it's a work in progress, and we're sort of getting towards it, because we sadly will never probably have the time to translate everything into Gaelic. As things change, we just don't have the staff numbers to do that. But that actual searching and the the online catalogue aspect will be as integrated with both bilingual as possible.
Absolutely. And I think that's just offers huge benefits for your community in general. So that's really brilliant. So Derek, you were obviously brought in as a contractor, so outside the library, but I presume that you have got enough guidance and a brief to understand the library principles and what Kathleen's vision was, and how, so although you were kind of just building it, you could see the potential and you could see how that would then benefit the service as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kathleen got in touch, had a meeting with Kathleen and her colleague, and the brief was to create a modern, clean, kind of user-friendly website that's had a kind of blended approach with the catalogue, the library catalogue. So straight away, the challenge is to kind of have both of these. So you've got functionality and you've got like the kind of visual look and feel kind of side of things as well. So that was kind of the key concern. We had initially thought about WordPress using that as a potential solution. As Kathleen mentioned about options with Koha earlier, that was something we looked at. But then we became aware of Aspen, and it became apparent that Aspen was a good fit for this type of project. Mainly from its kind of functionality side of things, I think it's fair to say it has excellent kind of integration possibilities, not just now, but going forward as well. Kathleen obviously knows a bit more about that side of it than I do, having used these systems each day. But from the kind of brief side of things, it had Aspen was a good fit because it had functionality, integration possibilities. That was like a tick in the box there. Bilingual options as well, as Kathleen just said, fairly straightforward. You know, going forward, it's something that can be added to as well. And staff training, that was a really important point, as Kathleen mentioned earlier. So I think it's a good solution for the library going forward. Staff training, and as I mentioned earlier, there is good supports available through Aspen. It's just, you know, you're just a call away, or, you know, there's I think there's a support mechanism with tickets and things like that, that you leave a ticket, and response is very good in getting back to. So very impressed so far. Yeah,
good. And of course there is the worldwide Aspen community as well, so you can get support from other libraries around the globe that are using it, which I think can be really beneficial too. And there's the community do weekly sort of Q&A sessions, and you mentioned before about the help centre, and that's constantly been updated. And Aspen, with its monthly upgrades as well, it's always new functionality and enhancements getting, so it's a, you know, it's actively developed product, so it's really, yeah, it's really good. So tell me about, obviously you haven't launched it to your library public yet, so that's going to be quite good. But in terms of your staff engagement, how are they with it? I mean, you mentioned staff training, but are your library staff excited by this new platform?
I think so. I think it's very early days at the moment for this, so probably more apprehensive than excited.
But they can see the benefits. They can see how it's going to enhance your library service. And
absolutely, because those benefits are with the staff as well, because at the moment you're having to check sort of 2 or 3 different sort of websites, places to check if you've got a book or not. And the fact that just the simplicity of bringing all those things together, and already they're seeing the advantage, even though we still haven't switched over quite yet, that to see the comics and the magazines and all these things that are sort of suddenly there now, it's a reminder for staff that we've got so much to convey that and get excited about it.
Absolutely.
And also it will give them more ownership, I think, of their own. They'll be, you know, each library branch will have their section of the website to look after in future. It's just to help us keep it up to date, but it also gets them involved. And I think that's very good. It's going to be very much more a shared process going forwards. And I think staff, especially when we are, you know, we're sort of so remote, really, the people here don't like the word remote. We're far away. Our branches are very far away from each other. But that will not just bring our users together, but it will bring the staff together through the website as well.
Great.
I think what you talk about, it suits us being very small, but you can see we are getting the same advantages of a much, much bigger library service. Absolutely. And I can see how it's as sort of desirable a product for much larger services as well, all the same reasons.
So another, you know, I suppose it's more of a benefit for the library users, but equally with the staff, things like the recommendations that Aspen offers and stuff. I mean, people go up to the library staff, wouldn't they, and say, have you got anything else that's like this? Or I'm waiting on this one to come in. So is there anything similar I could read? And Aspen kind of does that, doesn't it? So
Yes.
that's good that's fantastic for the library users, but also quite good for the staff as well. And they can go on and have a wee look and see things like, while you wait on this title, how about looking at this? And also the browse categories that you've got on the front page as well, that's the grouping of the material. Again, that benefits both the library users and the staff quite a lot too, doesn't it?
Absolutely, because up till now, we've been very much doing that manually. And I will try and share my screen here just to see if I can sort of show that off. I think it's got my own...
there we go.
I've got my own account there, but if we go to the home page, the system does this automatically, bringing these new fiction, new non-fiction, and we can sort of say what these categories are.
And then subdivide them as well, as you've highlighted there.
So the fact that that's just done automatically and people can see exactly what new books have come, instead of us having to do manual lists in future, it will save so much staff time in future, and it is so exciting. It looks like our sort of ebook resources have looked like. Those have all been ahead really of our library catalogue, and now it's like they're all on the same level, where you see the titles and see the covers. And the choice is just a bit more visible, isn't it? And more appealing. You feel like you're in the library, sort of looking through the shelves and that. So it's as close as that library.
It's like a virtual browse, isn't it? Yeah. Somebody walking in and just browsing the shelves. This is kind of what they're seeing here.
That's it. And I mean, just for us, the fact that this is, I loved our Koha online public catalogue, but wow, this is different. Got the English, we will have the Gaelic, you can log into your account there, but then you can search immediately. But at the same time, we'll have what services, what events we have, links to the e-library. I won't go too much because we are still working on these pages, so we want them to look perfect before we show them off. But it's just, and we were lucky to get a local designer as well to do the sort of graphics and the colors, which we're still tweaking and working on, but we hope it just looks bright and clean.
Definitely, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I think we just, as somebody accessing that catalogue, it's like, wow, it's just so bright. It's it's visually appealing, it's attractive, it's enticing me in. And then I really like how you've subdivided these as well. So you're focusing on new fiction at the moment, but actually as a user, if I was looking specifically for large print material, I can go straight to that button, and that targets me as a user. And I think that's really good. And equally, you've got that split there between your adult and junior. But it should be stressed into that's been your choice, and that's how you've decided to divide that. And it can be divided in any other way, really, as well. You could have it all together, or you could split it out a little bit more, but that's how you've chosen to do it. You could also split by genre and things. So, but I think from a library user's perspective, that it's been really helpful to them as well. So it looks great.
And I think it will encourage staff to do sort of, rolling sort of special collections, sort of draw in things. It's very easy to create a list or a collection and then feature that as well. So we can have a special collection for a particular month if we want to highlight something. We had a comic convention just last month, so we've created a collection for that. So special events, times of the year. And so you can be sorry about that appearance, we can be quite creative, and I think it will encourage people to think of these collections, and then we can feature them on the front page. So it will become a bit more interactive, and our customers will get used to. I mean, our former website is very dull. Too insulting about, you know, the corporate layout, but it doesn't actually invite that sort of interaction with the users. And we're hoping it's our catalog, but it's offers so much more. Yeah.
And Derek, I suppose with your background being in that web design business, you know, we talked earlier about you understanding the vision of the library, but just, you know, having that sort of different angle on it, you could see as well that it just looks nice. It's inviting for the library users, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. As Kathleen mentioned, the old website or existing one, if you rather, it's difficult to navigate, and it's important with any website to consider the end user. So it's important to think what's the user trying to achieve when they visit the website. So that was something that was definitely at the heart of what we were looking to do, and it was. I think it's okay to say that it was a frustration, I think, that many users experience with the existing website. You know, it's difficult to navigate and find something that's relatively simple. You know, like they just get lost in an avalanche of pages. So one of the first things that we did was we got our heads together and we came up with a site structure that Kathleen just showed on, shared her screen with you there. So that was the kind of key takeaways that we thought visitors coming to the website were likely, you know, looking to achieve. So we did that, and now we're just in the process of finalizing other bits of content, and we're looking to kind of populate some of these pages, and yeah, hopefully it'll be an example to some of the other local authorities or libraries that are looking to go with the Aspen route. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm looking forward to showing it off in my demos. Definitely, I'll be keeping a close eye and looking forward to you launching it. So thank you both very much for joining me and talking to me about your Aspen implementation and how it fits into your library service. I think that's been really useful. So thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
We're looking
thank
forward.
you. Yeah.
It's
been a pleasure.
Sorry, I'll let you speak.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. I'll look forward to keeping up to date with the Aspen developments. And yeah, there's an excellent community online, like you said earlier, Fiona. So I'll keep in touch there as well. Yeah,
please do. Yeah, definitely.
I'm excited that we will be able to link with libraries from different countries as well, because you do learn so much just by getting together and talking.
Yeah.
So I know we'll discover more tricks and functionality, and we're really excited to the time when we can launch properly and we've got all the details of a website together.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both very much. So yes, and we'll speak soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.